In the past, writing is a substitute for oral tradition when passing knowledge from one generation to another.
Thus, writing has evolved from being a form of communication into an art form that can still be seen today. With the invention of personal computers and smartphones and the increasing use of the internet, writing became a slower means of communication, and thus not a lot of people practice it as much.
Well, we did say a lot of people, but not all of them.
Calligraphy can be defined as a visual art related to writing. It can be done using pencil, pen, and other writing instruments. Many of the languages which are written and spoken today have their own history when it comes to calligraphy.
But we're from the Sukbu Chinese Heritage Museum after all, so we have to talk about the people who this museum is truly about.
The Cebuanos.
You're not wrong there. The origin of Chinese calligraphy can be stretched back to the invention of Chinese writing itself. These are some of the examples of the earliest known Chinese character carved on an animal bone 4,000 years ago. Can you guess what this character is? Yes, that is right, it's a horse. Over the course of 4,000 years, this script has transformed from one to another until we arrive at a modern style that we recognize today.
Due to its intricacy, its way of writing using the brush, the precision of strokes, and the beauty of different characters, made the Chinese calligraphy a sought-after skill for both the commoners and nobilities during the imperial era of Chinese history. With the arrival of the Chinese on this island, they also brought this tradition with them to continue the legacy of this calligraphy. Miss Ashley and Sir Odge are two of the many active calligraphers. They are part of the Fukungsan, an international Buddhist organization that is here in Cebu City. While Miss Ashley is a full-blooded Chinese, Sir Odge is a Tagalog with Austrian heritage.
Calligraphy is an ancient system of writing, and the first ones were recorded on the oracle bone in China. I came across it because of the Buddhist sutras that I studied. It was used since ancient times in China.
Calligraphy, it's not only a character, it's language. First, calligraphy is a language, right? Because you use that to record what you know, what you learn. But how come it become art? You can compare to other language, like for example, like English. For the history of English is not so long as Chinese character, right? So Chinese character is like from the shape developed to character. So you already carry more than 5,000 years of the culture. That's why. So why it become a culture? It's become an art. Is because in China this kind of language doesn't change since long time ago. So the people before, they really wrote the history in Chinese characters. So it become history. So we can easily know the history before. And why it become an art? It's because it's a shape, right? So since it's a shape, just like when you're drawing, something like that, that kind of shape. So when the people learn that, and then for your eyes to see it comfortably, nice to see, so it become many style of the calligraphy and become art. And since the character, when you read it alone, it carry the meaning. And the meaning is not really simple as like English, because for example, like English, one word. In the Chinese character, one word, it can have many meanings. And then when it combined with other words, it reach many meanings. So when your eyes see that meaning, you can feel what it want to express.
The Chinese pictographs represent an entire concept. So you can have a word like Zen or Chan in Chinese, Zen in Japanese. So the word Chan, for example, is just one character, but it represents an entire philosophy, lifestyle. So in that one character, you have an entire concept that's very complicated. Unlike, and you can express it in one character instead of in one essay or one paragraph. There's an expert in East Asian calligraphy who said that it's better for non-Chinese speakers to appreciate calligraphy as an art because they don't understand the actual word. They just see the rhythm, the lines, the flow of ink. And that's good enough on its own. So now if you add the meaning and all that on also on an entirely different level. I came upon it because of I've always admired East Asian calligraphy. To me, it looked like dancing strokes. I came across it because of my ikebana. I practiced ikinobo, ikebana. We had a week, Japanese week, showing cultures from Japan, and then there was a kanji teacher who was demonstrating it, and I asked her if I could try it. So I did, and so I remember the very first character that I learned was mountain, which is 1, 2, 3 strokes. And I thought this must be the easiest because it's just 3 strokes. And when I started to write it, I realized how difficult it was to get the correct proportion, the rhythm, and all that together. So this started my interest.
Although amazing to witness, practice, and study, Chinese calligraphy in Cebu has become more of an afterthought for a lot of local Cebuanos and the Chinese Cebuanos.
When I arrived here, it's considered empty for me at the time. Because I want to buy a brush pen, I cannot buy it because when the first year I reached in Cebu, I taught Chinese in Cherry School. The only mall I can find is in White Gold. I only find the very poor quality of the brush pen. And then for the paper, the rice paper, no, I cannot find anything.
But there may still be hope for the future of Chinese calligraphy here in Cebu.
When I taught masters in fashion in UP Cebu here, there were actually students, like 6 students who wanted to learn calligraphy. And I couldn't teach them at that time because we lacked the materials. I had to order materials. We have absolutely nothing locally available. Like I buy my paper from Japan and from Hong Kong. Nothing is available locally. So you can order on Shopee but you cannot be assured of the quality. So that was an obstacle. But right now, that obstacle maybe is easier to tackle because, as I said, you can order it from Shopee and it gets to you in 2 days. You can order things from China and it gets to you in 2 weeks rather. So hopefully that will help to improve the state of calligraphy, that more people will be learning it.
From a nation that is as old as time, creating one of the most complex yet beautiful writing systems to ever exist, being brought to this foreign land by those who want to have a better life for themselves and cultivate their culture, even though they are far away from home. We, from the Cebu Chinese Heritage Museum, believe that these traditions are worthy for preservation and restoration, not only for the younger generation, but most especially for the Chinese Cebuano families.
So for me, calligraphy is make you feel whatever happy, sad, or enlighten something. Yeah, so it's like not only arts for me anymore. Yeah, it's more like make you feel fall in another world.
Calligraphy is a way to enlightenment. It's a way of serving the viewer, helping the viewer find his true self. It's not about expressing in an art form of expression. It's not that. Calligraphy is an art form to benefit the viewer.